Hi everyone, so I just wanted to make you this video so that in case you forget what we did in class today, then you can watch this and you can hopefully remember what we did. So this is number 1 on your worksheet, right? And our goal again is to make sure that everything is balanced on the left and the right hand side of our arrows. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make my circles. So remember that the subscript, the little tiny number, relates back to the letter next to it. So this means the N2 means that I have 2 nitrogens, and I'm going to represent nitrogens with a red circle. So that means I have 2 red circles, right? Same thing happens with our hydrogen. I'm going to use 2 green circles this time. Right? Now, if we look at our right-hand side, it's a little different, right? A little different. So in terms of our N, we only have 1 because it doesn't have any subscript or tiny numbers. So I only need 1 red circle. However, our hydrogen has the 3. So the 3 applies to the H. That means I have 3 of these circles, green circles, right? As you can see, they're not balanced, they're not the same on both sides, so we're going to have to try to find a way to make sure that they're balanced on both sides. So to do that, we're actually looking for our least common multiple. So if you know that word, then great. If you don't know what that word means, what it is that we're looking for the smallest number that both of them can equal to. So here we go. I'm going to erase these colors right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this one step at a time, and we're going to start with the N, right? The N has 2 on the left, and the N has 1 on the right. So in order to make those 2 equal, I need to multiply, right? I need to multiply the right-hand side with 2. So I'm going to put 2 here. So this is our coefficient, our big number, right? So this big number applies to every single thing in the equation, which means there should be 2 N's, and then there should be double the H3s. But let's deal with the N's first. So now I have 2 N's for this one, which makes everything good because we have 2 here and we have 2 N's here. However, putting that 2 coefficient, the blue one, in front of it affected the H's, right? It affected the H's. So what that means now is I actually have 6 because 3 times 2 is 6. So now I have 6 greens, right? Which is a problem because I only have 2 H's on the left-hand side, right? So then again, you got to think about what can I do with this number in order to produce 6 hydrogens, right? And again, we're looking for our least common multiple. So our least common multiple in this case is 6. So we have to find a way to turn this into a 6, right? And to do that, I'm going to put a 3 in front of here because 3 times 2 gives us 6, right? So now, if I adjust my drawings, now I have 6, right? Now I have 6. So we are balanced now, right? Because we have 6, 6. So our final answer then is putting the 3, right? Our final answer is putting the 3 in front of the H2 and putting the 2 in front of the NH3. And then that's it for number 1. Right? Now, let me show you how to do number 2 because number 2 is a little complicated. So let me erase these. And yes, it does take some practice. So if you struggle on the first 5, that's okay. That's why we're doing this practice, right? So the next one is K. This is number 2. KClO3. And we have to adjust our boxes here. KClO3. And then arrow. And then KCl, and then O2. right? So just like we did in class, we counted them together, right? I'm going to use red for K. So there's 1K here, there's 1K here. I'm going to use green for Cl, 1 Cl here, 1 Cl here. And then I'm going to use yellow for oxygen. I have 3 here because of this tiny coefficient, right, applies to that. And this tiny coefficient applies to that, so I have 2 here. Right? Now, again, our trick is to do the easiest one first, and then we go from there. So I would actually start with the oxygen, because as you can see, the K and the Cl are balanced already. So, again, least common multiple, right? We have a 3 and we have a 2. So think about it for a second. What would be the least common multiple of 3 and 2? Hopefully you'll say 6, right? So we have to turn our O's into 6's. So how do we do that? Right? How do we do that? Hopefully you'll tell me that here on the right hand side, I'm going to put a 3, right? Because 3 times 2 is a 6, which is true. So now I can adjust and make this into a 6. Now I have to turn the right hand side into a 6 as well, right? However, the coefficient over here is a 3. So instead of me multiplying by a 3, I'm actually going to multiply by a 2, because again, 2 times 3 is 6. So now I have 6 oxygens. Now the thing with the coefficients, with the blue numbers, is they apply to every single element on the formula, which means this 2, right, applies to the K, applies to the Cl, applies to the O3. So the O3, right, again makes it 6 oxygens, but now we have a problem, because now we have 2 Ks because of the coefficient, and we also now have 2 Cl's because of the coefficient, right? So are we balanced? Hopefully you'll say no, right? Because I have 2 Ks and 2 Cl's on the left side and only 1 K and 1 Cl on the right hand side. So I got a balance, right? So think about, how do I make this into 2? Hopefully you'll say, well, I'm going to put a coefficient of 2 in the front, right? Which means, again, it applies to that and it applies to that, which turns my circles into 2 Ks, and then, oops, we're using green, 2 Cl's. Now, are we balanced, right? The way to check is to check your circles, right? There's 2 red circles, that's good. On this side, there's 2 red circles here, so we're good. 2 green circles here, 2 green circles here, we're good. 6 yellow circles here and 6 yellow circles here, so we're good, right? So then our final answer, if I take away all of these arrows, whoops, I messed that one up, then our final answer is, again, putting a 2 in front of this, a 2 in front of this, and a 3 in front of that. That would be our final answer. So hopefully that helps. If it's still confusing, it's okay. Just try it as best as you can, and then we'll talk about it when I see you in class next week.